Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another brand new episode of the Collider Games podcast. My name is Dennis and I'm here with
Joshua Weyers.
And for the first time, we've got one of our fellow Collider team members.
Greg Smith. Hello. Thanks for having me.
We are happy to have you on here. And also just to get your insight into these games and gaming news and all the things going on. Right off the top, first news topic, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Me and Dorian got to go to an event in Anaheim where they got to let us play the game for about 2 to 3 hours. We also talked to some of the developers. We talked to the narrative lead, whose name's Aaron Contreras. We also talked to Jeff Majors, who was a lead level designer, and he came over from God of War. So, so that was interesting. And just being able to play the game, and I mentioned this, me and Dorian did a separate video about this, but we did playing it, watching the trailers is always a fun thing, right? You can get hyped off the trailers, but not until you actually get in there and start playing it, you get more hyped and more, you realize, okay, they're going to deliver what they look like they're promising. What they're promising is an action-adventure game. It's not multiplayer. There's no loot boxes or microtransactions. Heavy focus on the story. There were story elements in what we played, but not a lot, just because they said they didn't want to spoil too much for us. There's a lot of platforming, puzzle solving to go along with the melee combat, which, it felt like Assassin's Creed or God of War or obviously Uncharted. But that's my impressions from it. I mean, what's your guys' thoughts about this game heading into it? Because, Star Wars games, much like the movies, is a bit of a hot topic. Yeah, and it's just a debate that people are always having. Oh, this sucks. Battlefront was, it had like mixed results the way that it was received, and so I feel like this is a game that's supposed to, bring back, at least in the video game sense, Star Wars as like a top tier franchise.
I think it will. I think this will be the game to bring the fans back specifically, because I spoke about it a while ago. The last time there was a good action adventure Star Wars game was maybe like The Force Unleashed, and that was so long ago. So you got to play it. So my biggest question is how is the atmosphere? Because with regards to any kind of Star Wars related thing, you need to make sure you get that big space atmosphere correctly and get it down right.
Well, I mean, what we played was only one world. I mean, there's another world, and when you travel from world to world, you get on the ship, and at least from what I played, there was no actual space interactions to it. It's just like you hop on the ship, you say, I want to go to this planet, and they take you to the planet, right? So you don't get that sense, but you get the sense of like, okay, these are different worlds with their own different feel to them. And so you had that there, where one planet had some snow and another planet was a jungle.
Oh, fun.
You know what I mean? What you go into caves and passageways and
what's
stuff
the
like
weather? What's the weather system like? I mean, obviously different per planet, but like the realism of it. How does it?
I didn't see too much of a change, to be honest with you, in terms of weather system, because this is a pretty straightforward.
The game's more about story than anything else. I think.
And action and like puzzle solving.
Yeah.
A lot of it's puzzle solving, to be honest. And one of the things I did like was that you can, in order to solve these puzzles, you actually have to utilize different aspects. One is your lightsaber. 2 is jumping. 3 is running on walls. 4 is using force abilities. There's a force ability that slows things down, so you actually will use the force ability to stop or slow down objects to jump on them.
Oh, I like that.
And then your force ability runs out, so you can't just like slow it down forever and then just hop on. You got to do it and then do it quickly enough and whatnot.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
So you're combining a lot of these, gameplay mechanics together in order to solve these puzzles.
That sounds really fun. The idea of a kind of Uncharted-inspired, story-driven, like action platformer as a Jedi sounds like incredible to me.
It's needed for the community.
Absolutely.
It's so needed, yeah.
My question is, does it feel like any of the other successful Star Wars games, like a Jedi Knight or a Jedi Outcast or anything like that?
I'd only played a little bit of those games. I played Force Unleashed. I mean, yeah, the combat you get a little, it's similar to Force Unleashed. But like I said, it feels more akin to these other AAA titles. It's Respawn. I don't know if you guys. I know you've played Apex Legends. Are you a big Apex Legends guy?
No, but I did really enjoy Titanfall 2.
Yes, so
especially
did I.
their use of narrative and humor and personality.
Yeah, so it's weird because it's like it's a third-person game, so it's not first-person. But they use a lot of similar gameplay mechanics in terms of you can run against the walls and jump. That. And so, but it's from a third-person perspective. So when I played it, it felt like a Respawn game.
Yeah.
With the tight controls, it just was from a different perspective. So that, one of the things you always worry about when you play a game is, are the controls, do they feel good? And they felt good.
Yeah.
Do you feel like a Jedi?
I mean, the thing is I played it, it sounds weird, 2 to 3 hours, like not enough time to because you get skill points, much like
so
any of those games, upgrade.
Yeah.
So you
so
can
like
choose.
light RPG sort of.
Yes.
You got your skill trees and stuff.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
And then that part is much like Assassin's Creed, they even have the little branching of the different skills and whatnot.
All right.
And
well, that's good because my issue with, I know we're talking about the game now, but the Star Wars movies lately is that the Jedi they don't really feel like Jedi.
Yeah.
They're not really doing much Jedi things, So it'll be nice to have a game where you get to actually see the full force of the Jedi,
No pun intended.
Yeah.
Maybe a little
pun intended.
Yeah.
Did you get a sense, because the titles you name-checked, like God of War, Uncharted, what I love about those are the personality of the characters. Did you get a sense for who these characters are?
Not yet. Not yet. There's little bits, right? You have this little droid with you called BD1.
Yeah.
And he's cute.
I love him already.
And he hops around and he scans things for you. He searches your boxes. You come across boxes and he goes in and finds whatever, loot is in there. So there's a little personality to him. Your character does talk and say things, but I only encountered one cut scene. So at this point I haven't gotten, familiar with what his character is like. And
did you get to do much combat?
Yeah, it was mostly combat and puzzle solving.
Would you say that's the combat's mainly lightsaber orientated with a bit of Jedi powers thrown in, or?
Yeah.
I'm sure that probably branches up as you unlock your skill trees.
Yeah, one of the skills that I upgraded to was just a slashing lightsaber move, and it would if you hold down the Y button. We were using Xbox controllers. You would kind of charge up and run into someone and slash. You know what I mean? There was things like that. You can extend your force slow down ability, which is cool to use, whether it's puzzle solving or combat when you're fighting people to do that. It once you get into some certain combos, it will automatically do kind of an animation, like a kill animation.
Yeah. Does it feel kind of it sounds maybe a little similar to an Arkham Asylum? Is it sort of free-flowing combat like that?
Kind of, yeah. Kind of like that.
I don't know why, but what you're describing kind of makes me think of the Dishonored series, if you ever played that. Mainly with
I played the first
the way you
Dishonored.
can switch out mainly just the techniques and abilities. Slowing down stuff.
Yeah, I think that one comes just from, remember when Kylo Ren slows down the laser bolt and then he lets it go? You can do that in the game.
That's cool. Very cool.
Yeah. So, and you deflect lasers and whatnot. So,
all
I don't
the
know.
fun Jedi stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's very promising. I think, like I said, in terms of the story, that remains to be determined because we didn't see enough of it. And also, the combat is fun, and it's just more about the progression of what you can do later on, and if that keeps you still interested. Usually for me, the story is important to keep me invested, and then the characters, obviously, and then hopefully the gameplay mechanics go along. I just finished, I've been talking about that game Control from Remedy for a while now, and I just finished that, I think, a week or two ago. And what I liked about it, it's not a big game like this is going to be, but within the context of that, you build your abilities as the game progresses,
Yeah.
and once you learn those new abilities, then they ask you to utilize them in some sort of fashion, and it was just a nice progression where I was always gaining new things that led to new experiences within the game.
And it kept you interested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that happens.
Yeah,
in this
it keeps
game.
you invested and it constantly rewards you while still challenging you.
Yeah.
That kind of mechanic.
But it's definitely not, I wouldn't call this an open world game. You can go to different planets, I think. Because, like, in the beginning of the game, there was, like, 3 planets. They told you, really, go to this one. Because, like, the other ones...
it's fairly linear, you'd say?
I'd say so. I mean, I think you can choose the order in which you do missions, but it's not like Red Dead Redemption, right?
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
you're like, hey, I can go over here and live this life and do that
For
thing.
like 3 days before anything even happens.
Yeah, there's no, like, I'm going to this guy and he's going to teach me how to, like, kill whatever fish with my lightsaber, and I'm just
Yeah.
going to do that, or I'm going to go to this place and gamble.
Yeah.
You know, there's no... what was that? I don't know if either one of you played Knights of the Old Republic, but what was the name of the card game that people gambled with?
I know what you're talking about.
I forget as well. They made a real life version of that.
Yeah. So, like, there's none of that, at least from what I've seen. There's none of that. I didn't have any, like, interaction bubble, like, dialogue choices or anything like that. So it's much more of the
Contained,
Uncharted.
You get good stories out of that. You know?
Absolutely.
And I didn't see, and maybe there are side missions. There probably are, but I didn't encounter any where, like, even like Assassin's Creed, you have a lot of side missions. So I would say much more contained than that.
Yeah, that sounds kind of like it could be a benefit to this game, to really focus on the story and to, like, craft it almost as a creator-driven project rather than a player-driven project. If that makes sense.
Like, you're not creating your own character. There's the character.
Yeah.
He looks the way
You're playing this one journey.
Yeah, and you can get different outfits, and that's about the customization is like you can change outfits and you can change the color of BD1 stripes. You know what I mean? Like. In lightsabers, you can get, like, different customizations for that.
That's cool.
But it's all
Kind of reminds me of, like, the 2000s gaming. You know, when everyone was doing, like, the action games. There were, like, very limited customization where it's like they just threw it in for fun. You know, it doesn't really play much of a role. It's just, hey, it's there, it's nice, why not? You know.
Yeah. So
A little bit of customization.
I'm looking forward to it. It's November 15th. It's coming out. Looking forward to it.
Big day. That's also Pokemon Sword and Shield, I think, comes out that day.
I think Death Stranding too. If I'm not mistaken.
Big day.
I think Death Stranding comes out like the 7th.
Is it the 7th? Okay.
Or the
maybe
8th,
that's-
the 7th
Let
or
me
the
double
8th, I
check
think,
on
yeah.
that. Let me see. Death
But either
Stranding.
way, big. I mean, oh wait, no, hold on.
Yeah, you're right. Death Stranding is the 8th.
Yeah, it's the 8th. Yeah.
So November, big month. Like
Yeah,
like
always.
games. They pack them, and we complained about this. I think you weren't on last week, but Dorian and Minilad were on last week, and we talked about, like, they put all the games because they want the holiday season, right? So from October to December is when all the big, because here at Collider we cover movies and television, and we're used to a bigger cycle. I mean, both movies and television have very expanded since the day of when I grew up, right?
Yeah.
Like before, summer used to be the dead season for television, right? No longer.
No,
So
now
it's
TV is just always happening.
yes.
It just never
Just
stops.
never
No
stops.
turning it
and
off, man.
movies, like, literally, there's like two short periods of dead time, which
Yeah.
is the beginning of January, the end of August, beginning of September. It's about the two, and even those windows are slowly closing.
They sure are, yeah. Some of the bigger movies, like Black Panther, Get Out, they're debuting like early winter and just crushing.
Yeah.
Nothing means anything anymore.
But video games still have, like, it's all in the holiday season. I mean, that's why I was kind of glad that Last of Us Part 2 and Cyberpunk are not I think those games are just so large that they don't have to wait for the holiday season.
Yeah.
People are going to buy it regardless.
Yeah, those are going to be events no matter what.
Yeah. And
I think the Stadia is coming out like 2 days after that as well.
yeah. So,
Yeah. That's interesting.
So speaking of Death Stranding, we got the embargo date, which is November 1st, which is a week before. Now, if you follow me on any of the social media stuff, I posted a picture a picture of Death Stranding downloading on my brand new purchased PS4. I don't know, Greg. You don't know about me, so I am more of an Xbox guy.
Yeah.
I owned a PS3, but I bought late in cycle. Same thing happening for this cycle. I just bought a PS4.
Yeah. Did you get a Pro or a regular?
I got a regular. People were like, PS5 is coming around next year. It's like, I know that, but Death Stranding is coming out now.
Yeah.
Also, I want to play God of War, which is a PS4 exclusive.
I have that if you want to borrow it, by the way.
I have it. Do you have Spider-Man?
No, I finished that and sold it.
Okay, because Spider-Man I need to borrow.
Yeah.
I have The Last of Us remastered because
that's
essential.
That's free this month, yeah.
Yeah, I got it for free anyway. So
there you go.
But I want to play that just because Greg doesn't know my PS3 story. So I bought a PS3 specifically for Last of Us.
Yeah.
Because I was like, people are saying this is, one of the greatest games of all time. It's right up my alley. I'm into the post-apocalyptic thing. And then bought it, got it. There was a glitch in the game.
What?
So the
I
glitch was that the manual save didn't work.
Whoa.
So it only saved
heavy.
the checkpoints.
Yeah.
And then for the most part, in the beginning, I played a good 2-3 hours of it, and I was fine. And I just got to this one point because I suck at stealth.
Yeah,
and
me too.
And there's a stealth part in it with the glickers, and like I would get past it and be like, yes, I got past it, and then I would die in combat later on, and then the save was before. I couldn't manually save, and it was a known bug, and they supposedly fixed it, but for some reason mine would not fix.
Yeah, you couldn't download a patch or
No,
anything?
it did not fix, and I was like, and then I just gave up on it. I was like, I'm not,
Maybe they knew about you and they were like, let's really challenge him.
Yes.
Let's give him the works.
Yeah. I'm the wrong person to challenge on stealth because I'm like, I always loathe any game that's open, where you decide I'm going to play this stealth or I'm going to play this. It's like, no, I always beef up my guy to be,
just be a tank,
the strongest.
run around.
Yeah, I'm the exact same way.
Yeah, because the stealth just gets me nervous, guys walking around.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so I have Death Stranding. Got it. Can't say anything about it until November 1st. But what is your guys' anticipation level for this game, and what are you expecting out of it?
I'm very excited for Death Stranding just because he's such a idiosyncratic voice in video gaming. I loved PT. That shit. Can we swear? I just did.
Yeah.
That shit
Too late
fucked
now.
me up.
Okay.
In a way that rocked my core in a way a video game hadn't in such a long time. And to hear that this is an even kind of bigger budgeted in scope sort of, but still very experimental, I can't wait for it. I'm very intrigued.
Oh, a fun fact. I'm so upset about this. If you own PT, that's it.
It's gone.
It's gone. I want to get PT so bad, but because I never owned it when it was available, I can never play it again.
That whole story makes no sense to me. Why not let people? What does Sony have to lose?
I guess I kind of see actually, no, it makes no sense. They got nothing to lose. Their biggest complaint was, I guess it's an hour long. The game is an hour and 10 minutes max. You know what I mean? But it was excellent. I think it's going to do well. I think everyone needs to take it with a grain of salt, with anything that gets overhyped.
Right.
Because we're in that stage right now where it is a little overhyped. It's Hideo Kojima. It's the world's looking at him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot can go wrong with that. But I think if you take all that away from it, it's going to be a good game. It's going to be the closest thing to a movie we're going to get from him, because I would like to see him make a movie.
Absolutely.
That'd be fantastic, Bring in all his director friends and stuff.
Yeah.
That'd be tight. I think it's going to be good. I guess I can't say anything about it until November 1st either. So.
Were you a fan of the Metal Gear games at all?
Yeah, it's interesting you talk about sucking at stealth.
Yes.
I love everything about and surrounding the Metal Gear games, especially how they kind of get into meta trickery and be about storytelling in some ways, except for having to hide in that dang box and sneak around and the damn exclamation point. Ooh,
Oh
it
my
gives me
God.
such anxiety.
Oh my god, I remember that. Yeah,
And I played the original NES one,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah.
Like it had that same. They used the same sound effect, and like it's a top-down view, and your guy's like walking around, and then people are like you. It was one of the hardest games I ever played.
Yeah, no
the
kidding.
suspense, man. I mean, I love those moments though. Like I love
Yes.
those where it's like everything's riding on it. Yeah, no.
Man.
You know what I would, while we're on the topic, it's a little off topic, but I pray to the lords of gaming that one day they will do a second Metal Gear Rising, which if you guys ever play that, it's a hack and slash Metal Gear game. It was fantastic.
What was it for?
It was on PS3. I got it on PC though, and it looked beautiful on PC. Like the engine as well. They had a function where you could just like basically pause time and just slice through someone like maybe 1,000 times if you wanted to, and they would just get into smaller and smaller pieces, or like the robots you're fighting. Oh, it was so beautiful.
Did it kind of borrow what I love about the Metal Gear Solid franchise is the sort of cyberpunk, low-tech, high-tech aesthetic of it all.
It took the main character, the main character of Metal Gear Rising, which was one of the characters from Metal Gear, Raiden, or however I'm pronouncing that wrong. He is a cyborg himself, and then he gets like essentially in the first chapter of the game gets like wiped out, and they have to rebuild his body, and it's like we have the technology.
I'm so in on this game.
They like this game came out years ago, but basically they turned him into a super cyborg, and I think it was also like just a rant and rave on like someone's graphics cards because it was just it pushed it to the limits, but it was a beautiful game.
I gotta play this.
Highly recommended. The story is interesting. Let's just leave it at that. It's very interesting. Very Metal Gear, but it's a great hack and slash. I highly recommend it to anybody listening who hasn't played it yet. You could probably pick it up for like $5 on Steam.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'd imagine. Yeah,
seems like a good way to kind of enjoy the aesthetics of Metal Gear without having to have anxiety about the stealth.
Exactly.
Sounds perfect.
You're just like running and like, excuse my language, you're just fucking shut up with a giant sword. It's amazing. It's
sounds fun.
Running around killing Metal Gears. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next topic. We've got Fortnite Chapter 2. I'm admittedly not a huge Fortnite guy. I've played a little of it. I much prefer the first-person Apex Legends. But this event, when I kind of heard about it and kind of looked into it, watched some videos on it, it's actually really cool. Do you play Fortnite, Greg?
I played Fortnite for approximately 15 seconds, and then I was like, I'm too old, I don't get it, and I put my controller down and walked outside and took a walk.
What part did you not get or not? Like, for me, it's the building. Like, I can't build.
Yes.
Like that gameplay mechanic while I'm fighting, I'm like, no, I can't do that. I can't run and chew
That is
gum.
the whole game now. Like that essentially within like the first season that became the whole game. If you can't build, you're not going to have a good time.
Yeah, I think I'm impatient when it comes to multiplayer shooters. I just kind of want to be dropped in and immediately start kind of fighting folks. And when I got dropped in, there was like nobody around.
That's the battle royale now.
Yeah,
it's the battle royale. I remember Call of Duty Black Ops 4, the Blackout. Like, that one was worse for me than Apex. Like Apex, like I'll run into some people. You know what I mean? You know where to go. Like, I remember playing Blackout. I was like 20 minutes of like. Didn't see a single soul.
That's wild.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, and then finally it like crashed on me. Like I didn't die. Like the game just crashed.
Oh, that sucks.
And I was.
What an anticlimax.
This was during. Yeah, this was during the beta.
Like,
it was during the beta.
That makes
sense. And I was like, man, come on.
Yeah.
I don't know if they kept this in the game. I haven't played a Blackout since the beta came. I played it so much that like first week that it came out. But they in the I remember in the beta you could pick up basketballs and you could throw someone with the basketball, and if by chance you managed to get that hit in, it counted as an instant kill.
Oh wow!
They would just.
I really enjoy that.
Yeah,
I really enjoy that.
Randomly killing someone with a basketball.
But did you guys look into this Chapter 2 stuff? I thought it was really cool that they had this thing because look, you know they're obviously Fortnite's still king. But they're getting a little heat from Apex Legends. You know, the popularity of that is growing, and also Apex Legends kind of won people over with the new map, and in this Fortnite Chapter 2, they're ending Chapter 1 and having this cool like black hole event that ends Chapter 1.
I loved that. I appreciate any time a kind of big video game giant is willing to take such a huge risk and get a lot of flack for it, as they kind of have been from like kids and parents and stuff like that.
How many hours was it out? Like, was it a whole day?
It was like a good day or two. Which
I think that's awesome.
I think it's awesome too.
There was one point in time where I went on Twitch and it was still the #1 streamed game.
Just the black hole.
Just the black. Nothing was happening.
Love it.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, I saw on Twitter. I think it was Jay Williams. He's someone that I used to do a MMA show with, and he tweeted out he's like, there's 30,000 people watching a stream that has nothing on it. And he's like, this is what's wrong with the world.
Okay. Well, okay.
But I like that they did this. They took that risk. It's such a great marketing ploy.
It really is.
What's going to get people talking about Fortnite?
Well, I mean,
other than already people talking about Fortnite.
The ability to not play Fortnite will get more people hungry for Fortnite. Yeah. It's so smart.
And with a brand new...
I can talk about Chapter 1 for probably 20 minutes. I'm not going to.
Okay.
But just like Fortnite Chapter 1 in general, I played it from Season 1 till Season, I want to say 7.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those games where I'm glad that they blew up that world, and that they're starting over. I think a lot of people are, because I stopped playing around Season 7 where there was just too much.
Yeah.
Way too much stuff that they've that they put in the game. It was just, which is why I was playing more Apex, still am playing more Apex. But the one thing that you have to give Fortnite is their beautiful way of telling this narrative story over the course of a year and a half, 2 years, season by season, slowly adding little things in, creating this. I mean, they had that one moment which was also viral, great marketing, which was everybody went into this spirit realm almost, and there was there was shit flying around.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I remember when that happened. That happened to me while I was playing the game as well, and it's. As soon as you create a live event like that where millions of people are experiencing it at the same time, it's going to go immediately on Twitter and Instagram. It's going to blow up. So they knew exactly what they were doing as well. And then I think one of the things I enjoy about this is they showed just how bad some of I don't really believe in video game addiction.
You don't believe in video game addiction?
I believe in good parenting. I believe in good and bad parenting. But some of these kids, man, crying because they can't play Fortnite.
Oh,
I'm
man.
discipline your children. No,
You probably don't believe in weed addiction or gambling addiction either.
I think you can get addicted to anything.
Yes, exactly.
True, yeah, true. Fair enough. Okay, yeah.
But yes, it did kind of show sort of the issue of maybe
the
portion control.
Self-control, self-discipline, which I, as the resident old man here, I complain about all the time with the younger generations. And look, to be fair, it has a lot to do with not just the parents, but technology and the way they're raised, right? They have
it's so
cell
accessible.
phones. You have cell phones, and you can tap into the stuff.
Parents can't keep up, And
I grew up in a time when there was no internet, and then when you got internet, it was super duper slow. Literally one picture you would download overnight.
Mm-hmm.
You want one picture. Now it's if you don't get that picture, including myself, I'm including myself in this in terms of the impatience. If a picture doesn't show up within a second,
oh my god, the internet's
on your phone,
broken. Yeah,
you start getting pissed off.
Yeah.
I just had a flashback of me in 2001 trying to load the Hustlers page. Just waiting forever for this thing.
Well, that's the thing is back in the day, before the internet, they had BBSs, which you would connect into. It's
oh, he's my favorite droid.
Yeah. And you would download a nudie pic or whatever, and it would take overnight.
Yeah, no, you'd have to come back the next day just to appreciate it.
If the phone line cuts off because it was phone
or
modems.
if someone makes a phone call.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh
yeah,
you'd have half a picture or part of a picture.
I of course have never looked at such smutty materials online.
Yes.
I'm a wholesome young man,
of
and
course,
I don't know what you're talking about.
To anybody who wants to sponsor this.
Yeah.
While we're on that topic, one of the things I enjoy that obviously the Chapter 2 thing that got leaked. I don't know if the whole leak or not. Let's talk about that. It could be another marketing plan. I'm not too sure, but. They did the one thing that I complained about a couple weeks ago in here, which is I miss some of the vanilla locations from Fortnite.
Yeah.
Some of the original locations that were fantastic, and they added them back in. 3 of them that they added back in was Retail Row, Pleasant Park, and Salty Springs, which I loved Retail Row. I would spend hours just playing there with my friends, and now it's nice that they've brought it back.
And I've heard they've because you had complaints that things were getting a little too convoluted, a little too complicated.
It was just too much
I heard
forms of transportation.
I heard they have scaled back for Chapter 2. Like, kind of brought it back.
I think, it looks like they still have a mode of transportation. They have boats, which I'm happy with. The planes were just too overpowered. Being able to fly from one side to the other side immediately, just it took the fun out of it. Like, it took the fun out of like kind of trekking from one side of the map to the other side. So now they've got like boats with these canals. You can do fishing, which is like an interesting thing to do in the middle of a battle royale, right? Everyone's killing each other. Only one man can survive, and you're fishing, getting that XP. Yeah.
Fishing in video games, I think, is having a bit of a moment.
Oh, it has for the past couple of years.
Red Dead,
Link's Awakening.
Yeah. True. I still do Final Fantasy 15. I spent hours playing the fishing. They even had a huge like $35 DLC just for fishing. Oh, it was
$35.
I think it was like
I think a fishing rod costs like $10 at a hardware store.
Right, just go actual fishing. But man, no, like fishing in video games are making a big comeback. I'm all for fishing in video games as any kind of mainly as a side gig. I wouldn't want it to be the main game.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
No.
Yeah,
but it is nice and it kind of maybe makes the black hole make thematic sense if they're kind of like imploding what wasn't working and coming back to basics. It's like the new universe, so to speak.
Yeah.
I mean, and knowing them, they've probably got the next 10 seasons planned out, because if they did 10 seasons and that's their Chapter 1, Chapter 2's got to be another 10 seasons. They're probably going to have another narrative story play out over the course of 10 seasons very slowly. So
that's how you get people to keep playing.
Exactly.
And
and
changing
it's
things
working.
up. And
it's been working. It's going to continue to work. I'm excited for it. At each new season, they're going to have to... my only complaint is now they have to up the ante. Every time they got to up the... Like, how do you up the...
Yeah.
How do you up the game from like shutting down your servers for like 2 days and just saying no more Fortnite?
I like watching that video and like people not knowing what was happening and like seeing the rifts and like the black hole and like they're like, what's happening?
I love seeing people trying to decipher the numerical code. I love that kind of stuff.
So
definitely, I think a very bold but also
it's a good,
awesome move.
Good way to get people back into it as well, because it's like I said, I stopped playing around season 7, 8. I'm definitely down to try out Chapter 2 because it's like a restarting point. You know what I mean? A rebirth, if you will.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that.
Cool. Another thing that happened this week, Riot Games, who makes League of Legends, announced a couple new games. I don't know if they announced any more, but I know the two that main people were talking about was this competitive PC shooter named Project A, which is along the lines of like Overwatch. I'm not really big on the competitive shooter stuff, so watching that video, with I think one of the head producers or lead developers over there, it was just funny just watching because she's talking about really like hardcore gamer type of stuff in terms of like, we're gonna kick out the hackers and we're gonna make sure that the server lag.
Yeah, it was an interesting way to promote a game.
Yes, it's definitely not for the
tackling
casual.
The issues, yeah,
not really for casual gamer.
That was quite interesting for sure. And one of the things they focused on was like I think character picking. You know what I mean? How you can that happens at Apex as well. Sometimes you get screwed. You know what I mean? You really want to play Lifeline. Well, there's an order, player 1, 2, and 3, and it gets picked in that order. So you get kind of screwed sometimes like that. So I'm interested to see how they're going to combat that, because at least nothing's coming to my mind right now how they would combat that. I think it's going to be good. I mean, it's got nothing to do with League of Legends, which I think is a good thing for them to basically build a new IP, build a whole new world.
Oh, absolutely.
And with most like hero shooters, if you will, is they're very personality heavy. So they're going to be able to create these new worlds, create these new characters. There's a lot of freedom in that, and Riot has done phenomenal jobs creating characters in the past. So hopefully, I wonder, like, knowing them, they're probably going to put out, like, the cosplay schematics on their website as well, because they have a huge cosplay community in League of Legends. But there's not much information on that shooter.
Yeah, it's early stages. Yeah. Even the video they showed said early development. Obviously, you can tell the graphics are... they're not going to be the final ones. They're just trying to test the gameplay. It's just funny because coming from the old school of like when you played shooters, basically you're the same person. Like you playing Halo, other than you being red or being blue.
Yeah, you're a faceless, mask wearing whatever.
And you basically everyone starts off the same, right? No one starts off with anything different. And then you go and maybe get different weapons and whatnot, but your abilities are the same. It's just funny now seeing like all these competitive shooters. Well, you get different classes and different characters, and this person's good at doing that, and that's how you build a team, right? You don't want the same 4 people. You want this guy is a healer, this guy, so.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting them to go in this direction, if you will, with like first-person shooters. I would have expected another strategy-based game, like League of Legends or something similar. You know what I mean? I always thought that Riot Games would eventually do their own. What's the word I'm looking for? Strategy-based game, kind of like StarCraft, Warcraft.
RTS?
RTS, yeah. I always assumed that they would have eventually done an RTS game, which, then the other game we're about to talk about, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, that
Legends
felt like
of Runeterra.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense
lateral
to me.
move.
Yeah.
Because it's based on the IP of League of Legends, right? Or
Exactly. Well, I mean, it's based off of the success of Hearthstone, if you will. Like Hearthstone, they basically took the Warcraft, all the lore of Warcraft, and they're like, let's make a card game out of it. Same with League of Legends. You've got all the lore, you've got all the characters. Yeah. Why not make a card game out of it? All the stuff is there. You just need to put it together.
They did emphasize on this that there's going to be microtransactions, but they're not going to be like loot boxes. So it's not it is random, but at the same time, you can basically swap out. Like you pay for this wild card thing, whatever tier it is, and then you get the card, and you don't like it. You can swap it for which other card as long as it's in the same tier. Yeah. Right? So it's not random. You're not gambling. You know what I mean? You're not paying something hoping to get something. If you want something and you buy it and you don't like it, you can just swap it out for the other thing on that tier.
Yeah, all the moves they've made on here kind of makes it feel like more of a real card game than anything else. Like in a real life scenario, if you went to go buy yourself a booster pack at like your toy store when you were a kid, you'd open up the pack, take out the cards, look at them, and immediately trade the ones you don't want with the guy right next to you. So it kind of makes sense to me where you can like trade back the ones you don't want, and then also like. One of the things they added is that you can buy the specific cards you want. There's a limit to it, so you can't just buy them all in one day. But
that's be good.
Exactly. But that's also reminds me of real life. Like if you really want a specific card, go on eBay, go get the card. Yeah. And so it's nice that they've added it as a function. You don't have to spend like countless amounts of dollars hoping that you can maybe get it in a booster pack one day.
It's a nice way to make this often very kind of like deep genre sort of more accessible. I love this game in theory, but I could definitely see myself feeling a little intimidated by not only the amount of strategy, but barriers like card availability, having to buy them. So this is kind of a nice way to maybe bridge that gap.
Yeah, for me, I personally don't play any of the things because I never played Magic the Gathering, and so
missed out.
Yeah, so it didn't translate over to the digital version of this, and so there's a kind of intimidation in terms of the familiarity of just the gameplay mechanics.
Yes.
I'm sure that they'll make it simplistic though. I'm
sure if they made it like a franchise that I was familiar with, like Fallout or something like that. I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm playing that. You know what I mean?
I was just talking about this with a friend the other day. Do you remember the Pokemon card video game for like Game Boy?
Yeah.
It made me really
card
wanna...
game for Game Boy.
They made a trading card video game for Game Boy.
No, I never played that. I'm gonna look that up. I'm excited. That sounds interesting. Yeah.
I'm the same way though. If you put stuff on cards, I'm in.
I think that they'll learn from a lot of the other people who have been making their own card games. This is obviously going to get a cell phone app immediately. I think right from
absolutely.
Right from launch, it'll be on a cell phone, which is a good thing. Get it into people's hands a lot easier. And then they're playing off of their audience and like the League of Legends audience. They're diehard. That's a diehard fan base as well. So I think. Yeah, as long as the game is good, they're not going to make it overcomplicated. The same with like Hearthstone. You could do the tutorial in like a minute. You know what I mean? And it's fairly understandable, not too complicated.
So it kind of sounds like with these two games, Riot is kind of speaking directly to their fan base and trying to create maybe kind of a brand new fan base or a brand new space.
Definitely, especially with the competitive shooter thing.
It's a smart sort of two-pronged approach.
I mean, I would argue that their only rival really is Hearthstone. Now that I think about it,
true.
There are a couple other games that do something similar, but none that are as good and have as big of a fan base.
Very true.
So yeah, that'll be nice though. It's always good when there's competitors because it pushes each other to do better and come up with new things.
Yeah. All right, next thing, Outer Worlds. The Outer Worlds launch trailer came out. It's coming out next week,
Soon,
October 25th. But the launch trailer came out. You know, it's that same kind of Fallout humor, just in a new world.
That's coming out on Friday, right?
I think so. Whatever the 25th is.
Yeah, damn.
I'm guessing.
I'll-
next Friday.
I pre-ordered that. I'm getting it. That means I'm going to be playing it after the podcast. That's unfortunate. Unless I get up early, we'll see.
Or did you digital download or physical?
I digitally pre-ordered it.
Okay, then you'll be able to download it. They'll let you pre-download it Thursday, and then
sweet.
midnight. I'm sure at midnight they'll open it up and
Hell
say,
yeah.
There we go. So if I'm tired at the podcast on Friday, that means I'll be there to talk to you guys about Outer Worlds.
And then I got to play a couple hour demo of it.
You got to play it. Yeah.
Very smooth, very seemed very polished.
I'm excited for the comedy as well.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, absolutely. This trailer, I had not really heard of this game until this trailer. It rocked me. I loved it. It was very funny. I loved the color scheme of it, the kind of like candy-coated like purples and pinks going on. It gave me a very strong, even with the music choice in the trailer, it kind of felt like a Guardians of the Galaxy sort of vibe to me. And I was all in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the game is fairly long. I'm sure it's at least probably like 50, 60 hour game, which is, pretty standard for those type of games.
Yeah, for those like RPG, like
open world,
you choose your own dialogue. That's
standard.
standard.
I mean, those are all like you can choose what your character looks like, what clothes they wear.
Oh yeah, no, that's gotta be 60 hours. Probably with all the DLC included, I'd imagine it's gonna be like a 120-hour game.
Yeah.
Eventually.
God, that's what I say. I complained about it last year. I complain about it again this year. All the good stuff comes out at the same time, and it sucks because it's like
you got to pick.
Yeah, I mean that's why I never finished Assassin's Creed Odyssey because. Red Dead Redemption 2 came out like 2 weeks later, or 3 weeks later. It's like,
and Odyssey was a great game.
Yeah, so
that's unfortunate.
Now I still have to go back to that. Now I'm trying to play Death Stranding and God of War, and just too much.
Is this just gonna be your first playthrough of God of War?
Yeah,
I'm so excited for you.
Yeah.
That is such a phenomenal game. Like, no one can ever give you that first experience again. Like I've played the game 3 times now.
Wow.
And it's nowhere near as good as that first, especially because I'm going to assume you played the first series, right? The first trilogy? Okay.
not.
Well, you'll enjoy it still, but for like fans of the series, I guess I can say this because it won't be a spoiler for you, but at some point in time, he gets back he gets his original weapons from the first 3 games.
Oh, okay.
And it's such a huge moment for like genuine fans because you thought that was gone forever. You know what I mean?
I mean, right now, the graphics look great. Controls are good.
Beautiful story. Great acting.
Yeah,
great
absolutely.
acting,
So I'm definitely looking forward to it. And then after that, who knows? I'll be able to have some time to start over on Last of Us, play the remastered.
Depending how much time we spend on Death Stranding.
When is Last of Us Part 2 coming out?
February?
Yeah, too soon. I know the rest of everyone else listening to podcasts is like, what are you talking about too soon?
We want it now.
Like for me, it's like I need to get through so many games in so long.
Has February always been a good time for games?
I think so.
Because I remember like a couple good games came out this year February and last year February. Never really like the big AAA titles. Usually, like I remember Dragon Ball Fighters that came out on a February. A lot of fighting games came out in February.
I think it's a smart play to kind of go into those winter doldrum months because what are you going to do but stay inside and play video
Makes
games?
sense, yeah.
Yeah, and also you don't have to worry about all the other competition. Even if you are the biggest game, it's like still other people are going to buy this game or that game.
It would make sense for me to like sell. If I was a company, I would sell my B games around February, and then obviously sell the A games around November.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of games, best game selling, NBA 2K20 is the best selling game of 20.
Me.
Yeah, it surprised the hell out of me too. Like just as someone who does like sports games, but I don't buy them anymore just because every year you're paying the same amount of money for like something that's marginally better than the.
Apparently, 2K19, the one that came out before this was. that was the one that saved the series from what I was hearing from fans. I've never played the games. I haven't played since like NBA Street 2 and Street 3, which
I love the Street games.
they need to make a comeback.
I know. I love them.
I think that they added like the street modes in NBA.
Oh, okay.
I know that they added them in the new FIFA. You could do FIFA Street
fun.
in the new FIFA as like a sub kind of game, which is nice. Rather than make a whole new game, they kind of added as a feature, which I think is cool. I think all the Madden should do that as well. It'd be cool.
A little mini like NFL Blitz style.
Yeah, that'd be fun, man.
But I mean, now these games have like story modes. Basically, like Madden has their own story mode.
True.
NBA 2K20 has its own story mode.
I mean, 2K19 story mode is what made it sell so well as well. I didn't get to play it, but I was looking at it the other day because it's on sale right now, I think, for $10 on PSN. So I was like, you know what? Funny enough, relating this to, I was playing NBA Street V3 on my friend's GameCube. Because you can play
as Mario and Luigi and Peach.
Literally, we were playing as Peach and Mario and Luigi, just playing the game, having the dunk contest. And then I went home and I was like, I'm still craving some NBA. And I saw that it was on sale. So I did a bit of research on it. And that was the one that really came back for this series. So if it would make sense if they followed in the footsteps of 2K19 and did that with 2K20, that it would be a success. I thought that it wouldn't have been so successful because of all the loot boxes, if you will, and the gambling.
I mean, the straight up, like, here's a slot machine, here's a roulette wheel.
Like,
they're not even trying to shy away from it.
Like one of those spinning wheels with prizes, the prize wheel. Oh my God, yeah. But from speaking to my friend Brandon, he said he loved the game. Like, whenever I go on PlayStation, he's online either playing that or Apex. He's always switching up between the two. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like now I have to get it. If it's the game, if it's sold the most this year so far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, it beat out Madden. Madden came out.
I wonder if that speaks to kind of. It does feel like there's a broader cultural shift from football to basketball.
Mm-hmm. It beat FIFA 20 and Borderlands 3. That's crazy.
It is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, what game would you say could beat it?
I thought
it's not going to be Death Stranding as big as Death Stranding is going to be
for this year.
Death Stranding is it's exclusive on PS4.
Maybe Outer Worlds.
No,
that's
Outer Worlds will sell well. It's not exclusive, but I mean, it doesn't have the franchise IP of Fallout attached to it. It's still, I think,
Pokemon making a play, Sword and Shield.
Okay.
That's true. Yeah, they do have the new Pokemon coming out. What blew my mind is that it beat FIFA 20 because NBA is very much like there are a lot of other countries out there in the world that play, but it's still
an American thing.
It's still a very American sport, and then to have like beaten FIFA, which is an everywhere sport, like that blows my mind. But yeah, like, well, and that's for best-selling game. They're not even talking about like top grossing. They're not even talking about like the microtransactions. That's just actual game sales.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's crazy, man.
2K is just printing out money.
Literally, yeah. And the amount of money they're probably making from those microtransactions.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no. EA is happy. They don't care. They can screw up another Star Wars and still feel fine.
All right. Here we go. World War Z Horde mode announced. So this is a game that we played earlier in this year, and it was quite like a kind of a surprise sleeper game because, you know, a lot of times when you have movie tie-ins to games, like think about like the best Batman games, they're not tied to the movies, right? They're all their own thing. This is tied to the World War Z game, though. Really has zero to do with other than using the name and having tons of zombies. There's no story connection to it. It just lives in that world. The game was, I think, only $30.
Wow.
And it was a blast. It's a 4-player co. I don't know if you played Left 4 Dead.
I was going to ask if it's similar to that because I haven't played.
It's Left 4 Dead, but from a third-person perspective.
That sounds fun as heck.
And it actually was a lot of fun. Its controls are very simple, but the best part is just hordes and hordes of zombies just keep coming. And so now they've taken the best part of the game for Season 2, and apparently it's going to be free, and put it in like instead of you traveling around and getting to certain areas where tons of zombies are coming, you in one place.
Yeah, and they just keep
coming. And it looks like a blast. And they're also doing 2 new areas, Moscow and New York as well. And yeah, I'm very excited. I haven't played it in a while, but definitely this new DLC is going to get me back into playing again. Like when you're playing, because it was me, Dorian, and Caboose. We're playing it online together, and we just had a blast.
Yeah.
It's so simple, but yet so fun.
I mean, from what I've been told, it is the closest we're going to get to a Left 4 Dead 3 for now. And then also, I know people were disappointed by, was it Days Gone?
Yeah.
The other, like, it looked promising. I haven't played it yet. I saw some disappointing gameplay, like, after the game came out, mainly regarding the motorcycle. But just that thing is a horrible piece of machinery.
But that tried to be more of a Last of Us.
Yeah, that felt very somber,
like,
dour.
The trailers like were showing these hordes of zombies that they promised these hordes, you know what I mean? And then like I don't know, like I didn't get that feeling from the game, at least watching any of the gameplay. So it's nice to see that World War Z is gonna be throwing those hordes in your face, and you can just sit there mowing them down with friends.
Yeah, it's a keep it simple, stupid type of game. Like,
Absolutely,
and it works.
Yeah.
It worked so well for Call of Duty with their zombie mode. I think it's such a smart copy and paste kind of thing to do.
Ooh, isn't Modern Warfare coming out soon?
Yes,
it is.
It is.
Ooh, that might make a play.
That I think that might make a comeback as well, just because. Yeah, man. Well, I spoke about this a while ago. I'm still playing Modern Warfare Remastered. Like
that game was my everything when it came out.
I'm playing it like still like every day, just for like 5 or 10 minutes, or like even like an hour, just to like hop in quick games. So I'm really looking forward to this. I think that might make a big play.
What was that mode in the new one that's coming out where it's just 2-on-2,
the
2v2?
Ooh, fun!
Assault mode. I think it's called Assault mode.
I forgot what it's called, but it's like in a small map. It's like
think Shipment, because you played Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
Think that map but with just 2 people.
That sounds
it's
so
2v2,
fun.
and the what you start off is random.
Oh, 4
so your
people,
weapon
sorry,
is random.
Oh, I love that.
So you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you can't just be like, oh, I'm going to cherry pick and get the best weapon that I'm good at. So you could have a bazooka, you could have a machine gun, you have a pistol.
Yeah.
Everyone starts with the same weapon, but essentially, you're basically skipping the whole. I'm level 40. Look at me with my sniper rifle with all the attachments.
Yes, and
like no, we all have the same.
And
weapon.
you're skipping the battle royale where you're
Yeah.
like, I'm searching for someone in like it takes me 10 minutes. Like you're in this small room.
And you just gotta go.
Yeah, and they're over there, we're over here,
And it's
time to fight.
It's realistic. I like that. You're not running around looking for like gear to put on, like put on like some armor. No, if you're getting shot, you're gonna die.
Yeah,
that
and
really
it's
levels the playing field. That sounds like my perfect mode.
Yeah, and games are supposed to be under a few minutes, right?
Yeah.
Under 2 or 3 minutes,
Yeah.
and you're done.
Yeah.
and then you hop in the next one.
So fun.
Yeah,
It's
so
quick.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm also looking forward to the single player because I'm like one of the people that's like a Call of Duty single player fan.
I will say that's the one thing that was going for the past couple of games. They still had a fairly good story mode.
Oh, definitely.
But
They're very good at crafting like huge sort of gut punching moments and those story moments.
Didn't like the multiplayer for the previous games though, but the stories have been great.
Yeah, I just don't, because I suck so bad at the multiplayer. I just don't do it. So
well, I mean, there was one I think it was Black Ops 3. I had a lot of fun playing it, but it was too much as well. The jetpacks, the wall running, all those things were like I want to be like a Navy SEALs guy. Like I want to be like going through like weeding through like the bushes. You know what I mean? Trying to shoot people. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to that.
Nice.
That could make a play, like you said.
Yeah, that one I definitely think could be, especially because they are branded like this is almost like a reboot, right?
It is. It's like Fortnite. It's back to basics.
Like I'm more interested in this than the previous few Call of Duties.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. No, there's a lot of hype around this, especially from like, the old school people who haven't played it in years.
Yeah, they'll get excited like I just did and be like, "Oh, Modern Warfare! I remember that."
Last thing we have on the docket here, Red Dead Redemption 2, the PC trailer came out.
In 4K?
In 4K. Beautiful 4K.
The lighting, the sort of like different shades of lighting in each sort of outdoor environment, it floored me. It looked gorgeous.
Yeah, the detail in the environments.
Yeah.
Now, can't we get that in theory on the PS4 Pro with a 4K TV?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, this is going to be on another level, right?
Yeah, it's gonna. That's true. Yeah, the frame rates.
Well, it also depends on your card. Let's say you have a crappy card.
Yeah,
you're not going to get whatever. But let's say you have a high-end gaming PC, then you're going to get something.
And then there's still the mods as well.
It's what?
Oh yeah.
It's what?
There's all the mods that are going to come out eventually. Yeah.
And it's 60 FPS for the 4K.
Yeah.
As well. Well,
that's
if you
sexy.
have
If you
right
if you have
computer.
the right card. Yeah.
Yes, the right computer.
I most certainly do not.
I'm not really one of those people that like buy the same game again for the PC just to get the better graphics. So I'm not going to be getting this, but for people who either never played it and maybe they're not console gamers, they're only PC only gamers, this is great for them.
Mm-hmm.
And two, if you are one of those elitist people, like you have to have the best graphics possible, then this is another cool,
The best way to do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
cool way to play the game.
I mean, it's gonna work. I think I got swayed with when Final Fantasy 15 came to PC.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, why would I buy it? I already finished the game. Why
You
would I buy it?
you gotta play that fishing in 4K, my man.
But
You
that,
gotta-
that was it, man. Like I literally looked at some of the footage and I was like, this looks fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And then I ended up getting the PC version as well for that exact reason. Well, nowadays my computer is a little lagging behind. I need to update it for sure.
Yeah. Did you play Red Dead 2?
No, I missed it. It was also a touch intimidating in scope to me. And right now,
It's
Very
a
much
huge
is,
game.
Yeah.
all I have is a Switch right now. So
Okay.
I've just been switching it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would look into playing that game just because from a cinematic standpoint.
And
it
yes, and I loved the first one.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna, when the PS5 comes out, I'm
Okay.
gonna dive back in, get that backwards compatibility going.
Oh, they'll probably release a PS5 version updated.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
Like,
Or
'cause
remastered.
I know they did that with
With Last of Us.
and GTA 5.
yeah.
GTA 5 came out on PS3 and then on PS4 with just more trees and bushes and more animals and things like that. But they made it a bit more lively, which is nice. Yeah, and they added first person. Yeah.
Yeah, I would
was cool.
definitely recommend if you're
Yeah.
into any type of westerns.
Yeah.
It is like it's basically a western movie.
Oof, I love it.
The realism's almost a little haunting at times.
Yeah.
That was the vibe I got from this 4K trailer.
Yeah.
It like made me feel melancholy.
Yeah. Personally, what I did was I didn't get distracted by the side missions.
You just played through the story?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I didn't go hunting. I didn't go like fishing. Yeah, I did a little bit of, but like
Did you play poker?
just the once or twice that they make you. But like I just stayed away from all of the distractions and played this story.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic.
I could not though. Like some of those interactions are just too golden to pass up. Like
I mean, they're so good at just like capturing human moments, and they're like always on the margins, but it just makes their game so immersive.
Yeah. And
sorry.
I was going to just say, like, I'm admittedly I'm a fan of the first game, but I wasn't like a diehard.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, well, there's some certain things they need to do. The second one doesn't. The second one takes all like my criticisms and complaints and actually implements all the fixes. So
I love how they put so much little extra things into that, like just for the immersion, and then also just for like cool effects.
Yeah.
Like I think one of the things I was looking up the other day is that there's a random chance of if you're just taking your pistol and you're shooting it into the air while not looking in the air, there's a certain percentage of a chance of them spawning in a dead pigeon and then dropping it in front of you, so that it looks like you just killed. Like I love that. Like the random.
Hell yeah.
I once bumped into the KKK. Wow. And like you can kill the KKK people, and it won't mark you up as like a criminal. It won't like put you towards like your bad points because they're KKK members.
Yeah.
Or like what I did, I was just I thought it was funny bumping into them. I didn't kill them. I just like let them do their thing, and they lit themselves on fire accidentally. It was hilarious. No, I love those interactions. One of my favorite side missions, maybe you played this one, was you just have to like shoot bottles off of people's heads, and they're like really drunk, and they're really
I
drunk.
love all of
They're
this.
so drunk trying to balance these like glass bottles on their heads, and then you're drunk as well trying to shoot it off their
I
head.
love this.
It's just so bad.
yeah, there's definitely a lot of cool things about that game and what you can do. And
It's like never ending, like you said.
you can go hunting, and then you can take the skins of the animals you kill and use them, and then get someone else to like make outfits out of them.
Oh yeah.
That's really cool.
So-
Yeah, you use your horse as an inventory, and I love the realism for it because it's like you need another weapon, you got to walk all the way back to your horse because it's in a bag on your horse.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Go fetch your weapon, go walk back and do the thing you need to do.
Yeah.
But and then
good.
integrated with that, it just had a great story,
Yeah.
great characters,
Yeah.
and like voice acting and
that
everything.
realism, man.
Yeah.
How was
Blew me away.
I just remember from the first game, it mostly just has kind of like a guitar score, if I'm not mistaken. But there's that one moment where suddenly a song comes in with like a woman singing over it, and it rocked my world. Are there equivalent like musical moments? Yeah.
There's great music in it.
Ooh,
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah. So definitely, I would.
There's
check
even
that out.
there's even theater. Or sorry, there's even
You can watch like actors
You can-
do a.
they have like black and white film. I think, or like something like that. I remember what was it from GTA? They hired Michael, the guy who played Michael in GTA. They used him as an actor, but like as an actor portraying an actor or something. It was very interesting. Yeah.
Oh, that's
like,
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
there's
was-
a lot of little tiny things.
I like that,
I
though.
just can't imagine, like, them making that game. Just be like, all right, in this place, like this little thing that 90% of the people are not going to even go past or do. Let's work a ton of time just to have that
Oh yeah.
experience.
You gotta love that though. I love the fact that they went all the way for that. You know, I like the fact that they were working on it for years and I wouldn't say secret, but essentially like they didn't tell anybody about it. You know what I mean? I love when I think what was it, Horizon Zero Dawn, which was one of my favorite games when it came out. I think 2016.
Beautiful game.
That was a game that like just they'd been working on that for years. Like what was it? I forgot the company, but it was the people who made Killzone. They were like they hadn't done anything since like Killzone 3 or something, and then like 6-7 years go by, and then poof, out of nowhere, Horizon Zero Dawn, and that was a fantastic game.
All right, that's it for all the news topics. I guess before we leave, let's go starting with you, Greg. Like, what are you playing right now?
Yeah, as I mentioned, I'm a Switch guy right now, and I'm loving the Link's Awakening remake. I find that I am really responding to cute games lately, and this game is like the cutest game on the market. It just puts a huge smile on my face. The gameplay is so... I think Nintendo is so good at like towing the line between accessibility and kind of like strategic immersion. And this game really gets them both in spades. The vibe of it is so lovely. I just want to hang out in the town all day. The music is wonderful. It's just a nice game.
Would when the Nintendo Switch Lite was
Yeah.
announced, did you have any regret, or were you like, oh no, what I have, the regular Switch is fine?
No, the regular Switch is fine for me. I like playing games docked to my TV.
Okay.
I probably do that a little more than handheld.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's perfect for me.
Okay. And also they had some announcements of not so cutesy games, like Witcher 3.
Yeah,
It's
and,
coming
like,
out.
I saw
Overwatch
that.
and,
Oh.
And Jedi Academy or Outcast.
Have you played The Witcher 3?
No, I haven't.
Dude, get
no.
it, get it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the graphics are gonna go a little lower on the Switch, but that is a beautiful game, story-wise, immersion-wise, and combat-wise. I highly recommend it.
I'm gonna check that out. It is a little. I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan, and so when 11 was announced for the Switch, I was very excited.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
But the graphics, it is a little hard to walk past.
Yeah.
The gameplay is still very fun, but it is a little.
Outer Worlds is coming on Nintendo Switch. I don't think
that really?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not coming out the same date. You know, it's not
Ooh.
coming out October 25th, but
Yeah.
they are building it for.
Oh, fun! I can't wait.
Yeah. So it's very interesting.
That I don't know why, but I just had a flashback to like, I never played much Nintendo growing up as a kid, so I got all my knowledge of Nintendo through YouTube and coming to America and then making American friends who have played with Nintendos before. I think it was Kirby's Dream Land Adventure.
Yeah.
It was almost like a game of golf.
Yes, I know exactly what you're
Is that
talking about.
Like, I really want another one of those. Like,
Yep.
I really want them to make another one of those. That'd be amazing.
Do you have a Switch?
No, I'm trying to get one. Like,
If you ever get one, and if you want like a very charming golf-based game, there's an indie RPG called Golf Story that
Golf Story.
I inhaled.
It's an indie RPG.
It's an indie RPG made
That's
by.
great.
It sounds like. Are you from England?
I'm,
Scotland?
South Africa.
South Africa.
Yeah.
I mislabeled that. Apologies.
I don't care.
Golf Story is made by like a European company, and it has a very kind of dry British sense of humor.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's a golf game that's an RPG as well.
It's like if Pokemon
I'd
was
like
about
that.
golf. It's great. Highly recommended.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna look that up. Yeah.
What are you playing right now?
Right now, recently I went back to Dragon Age Inquisition.
Okay, that's actually one of my favorites.
Yeah, love the game. I didn't know there was a multiplayer mode.
Is there? I never played it.
They added multiplayer.
I know Mass Effect had multiplayer, which I played a little bit of, but
How does that work?
they just put the characters into a map and you fight
shoot each other,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then they have like a horde-like mode or whatever.
Okay.
But yeah,
I don't play those games for multiplayer. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
It was same. I was kind of like interested. I was like, why is there multiplayer? But I got back into it because I recently got all the DLCs, and I was like, I'm gonna go back into it, play it again. And then I also noticed my friends playing it, so I was like, hey, well, if we're both playing the game at the same time and there's a multiplayer mode,
Might as well.
may as well try that out. You know what I mean?
I never got the second one. I played the first one. And it was good, but I didn't love it. It was kind of like my reaction to the first Red Dead, where I liked it, but there was things I
Dude,
wish were
the
better.
first Dragon Age for me is just
Really, and then the third one I loved
yeah.
because I think the levels on that
Yeah,
were
the
great.
second one was disgusting. The second one was the most linear, horrible game I've ever played in my
I
life.
tried to play
Yeah.
it, and I was like, this doesn't feel like Dragon Age. It just felt like something
not at
else.
all. There was no character. It was like, here's your guy, go play the game. There was no character creation. You got to choose male and female. That was it. And they just kind of threw you into it. Dragon Age 1, I loved the story.
Yeah.
Gameplay wise, I got a couple of quirks with it, but the actual story itself and the story trees and talking to each other, that was phenomenal. Dragon Age Inquisition is. It's them coming back, and they kind of saved their ass with that because Dragon Age 2 was so bad. But yeah, been playing a lot of Dragon Age recently. Got back into Skyrim again because why not?
You go back to some big games. Like usually when I go back to something, it's like one of those games that you can play for like 5-10
Casual,
minutes.
yeah.
Well, the reason why is because there were a couple of mods I wanted to try out specifically. Like I'm playing as a Nazgul right now from Lord of the Rings because why not?
Yeah, why not?
So I'm playing as the Nazgul in Skyrim. That's
I love
fun.
the imagination of modders. Keep it up, modders. If you're
Yeah,
listening.
there's a whole like I'm a big Fallout guy, and there's like mod like separate spin-offs using just the Fallout engine, living in the same world, not
so fun.
official, full on like story and
Yeah.
campaign and brand new characters. It's crazy.
Yeah, but other than that, the most latest thing I've been playing is obviously Apex. Still loving Apex right now. The new map is great. Yeah,
Yeah, I played a little of the new map. I like it. It's just
it's colorful.
yeah. I
which is
just
nice.
because I'm not familiar with it like I am with the first one. Not like I was an expert on the first one, but the first one I kind of knew where stuff was. Like this
Yeah.
one, I like no idea.
I'm just happy because it's like it's something you didn't know you needed.
Yeah.
I played the first map so many times, but when I played the second map, I didn't realize I needed that little just the different biomes. Whereas like the first map, everything was gray, desert area. Now at least you're running around. There's the different areas, the different biomes.
Yeah, and you can tell more easily where things are, where you are.
Which
So,
is cool. Yeah.
yeah. For me, I finished Control. They're going to have DLCs for that, so I'll play that again once the DLCs come out. So far, that's my favorite game of the year.
Yeah.
We'll see, after Death Stranding and the Outer Worlds. I think those two might contend for it as well. And yeah, just started Death Stranding. So
Ooh,
I'll be starting this weekend, hopefully.
and
so
then-
excited.
Yeah. And then I'm trying to think of what else.
I've been playing a lot of like GameCube games.
GameCube.
I don't know
love
why.
the Nintendo GameCube. Underrated.
I never had one.
Yeah.
My best friend just got his from back home. With
What are you playing?
We were playing Street V3.
Yeah.
We were playing a lot of Mario games that I'd never heard of before, like Mario Strikers.
Mario Strikers is fun.
Yeah,
that shit
we were playing
is fun.
playing a lot of Mario Strikers, Mario Party 4 through 7.
Yep.
This game that I loved playing as a kid that I was so excited to see that he had it called Sled Storm. Which was just like you're taking snowmobiles and it's like a snow. Do you guys ever play SSX Tricky?
Yeah.
It's that with snowmobiles.
I'm in.
It's literally that with snowmobiles.
Love it.
I think it was made by the same company, not too sure. But yeah, I'm actually now ordering like GameCube games on eBay. I'm trying to get I'm trying to get the original
retro
SSX.
gaming.
Yeah, man, it's been fun.
They need to release the GameCube Classic console. I would buy that.
I'm sure they
day
will.
one.
I mean, they already have the Genesis, the NES, the
Which, by the way, is now my
SNES.
new. We got asked this a while ago. This is my new favorite controller of all time. I've never ever used the GameCube controller before in my life. It is now one of my favorite controllers of all time.
It fits on your hand perfectly. It's perfect.
Which, I mean, it makes sense that someone was telling me that they've made a GameCube controller for each version of the Nintendo since the GameCube.
They do. I play Super Smash Bros. Ultimate with a Switch GameCube controller. It's the only way I'll play it.
I've been told, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's it for this episode of the Collider Games podcast. Thanks for everyone who's been listening or watching us on YouTube. Josh, where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram at josh.toki, and you guys can find me on Twitch at josh_toki.
And Greg, let everyone know where they can find you.
Sure, Instagram and Twitter at SmithLGreg. And give a listen to the my podcast, Dopetown 3000. It's a freestyle hip-hop / improv comedy podcast. We have people tell stories. We turn them into little rap musicals.
Nice. And then you also do writing for...
Oh, yeah, that's true.
The Collider website.
Just look for that byline on Collider.
Yeah. And you guys can find me on Twitter at ThinkHero, Instagram, Dennis.tzng. And make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel, youtube.com/Collider Games. Subscribe to our podcast feed, which is the Collider Factory feed, for this podcast every single week. And until next time, we'll see you guys later.